On today's Minute of the Apes, we all wonder about Richard's dreams of running.
Exercise with an ape maker, human down. It talks. With a divine bound. We are determined to know what the apes want. War or peace?
We are the good human, is a dead human.
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. Richard, are you awake?
I'm awake. I'm ready to go.
Did you run in your dreams?
No, but I will say this. I PR'd 2 CrossFit workouts last week, and I'm awesome.
Oh, and you're modest.
And I'm modest. I'm humble.
And you're rocking a mustache. I was just talking to a friend last night about guys that actually can handle a mustache. I'm not one of those.
That's supposed to be a pun.
Wait, so you're saying this works? This
it
mustache
does.
works?
I like it.
Awesome. My husband doesn't. JJ doesn't. But it's okay.
That's okay. I do.
Well, neither of them have to wear it.
You can go to both of them and go, well, Todd likes it, and then they'll just say, we don't care.
Well, why did you go live with Todd?
But I'm one of those guys, I can grow the mustache. I do not look good. Mine is too thin, and it just won't work.
It's too thin? Like
my upper lip is not broad enough, I think, for a mustache to really register right. Yours has that right width, and it looks good. And
well, thank you. Sean's like, look at my face. Look at my bearded mustache face.
Yeah, Sean has definitely got the burly man beard. But it's very trimmed and looks good. So now that we're having a minute of the facial hair, Sean, why don't you tell us what's going on with today's minute?
All right, we're going to start at minute 53 with the guard running over and down the bridge, and it ends with guards surrounding Caesar.
All right, let's take a listen to this very not dialogue-heavy minute of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
As minute 53, we have a courtyard worth of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesar, and a planet's worth of humans. Armando's still not coming back, Todd.
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
No, I did not listen to the minute while the minute was just played. I've got the video up, but I can't hear the audio. Is there any music at all?
No, I don't believe so.
There is something. There's something absent. We talked about it.
There's no music.
But we talked about wanting, footsteps for dramatic effect in the first 2 minutes. And I know it's nighttime, and I know nighttime is quiet, but I would have liked something more to create this moment. It could even be just the sound of wind and the rustle of leaves. Just something a little bit more. I like the idea of it being stark. I do like that. But having come off the last minute with no audio tension, I needed some here. If you give me music and steps in the last one and then silence here, maybe that would have been more effective. But it's kind of drab.
Speaking of no tension, all right. So the previous minute, we got Caesar running for his life, and we got the guard chasing him as best as he can, carrying the gun. And then he's running over the bridge. And then as soon as we get to this minute, everything slows down. Caesar is quietly hiding under the stairs, where surely nobody will look under the stairs ever. And then the guard is quietly walking down the steps and quietly walks around towards the camera on the other side of the stairs. And they just quietly grab Caesar and move off. It went from run, 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 run for 15 seconds to, all right, everybody calm down. Let's just be cool. You can whimper a little bit, but we'll just take you off. I mean, everybody's just very, very subdued at this point.
And that's one of the reasons why I thought this was a trick. I thought this wasn't Caesar.
Oh, I can see that too, yeah.
And Sean, you haven't watched Future Minute, so we'll just pretend that this isn't Caesar because it feels like it's not Caesar.
I do want to be fair to these moments that they're shot so well, and there's a lot of things that we've kind of been calling for. The boots that come on stairs over his head as he's hiding beneath it. These kind of ominous things. I feel like if they would,
you should hear announcements of all unaccompanied apes will be rounded up, and you should see like in previous minutes. You should have seen an ape being rounded up or something. But
they're shot very well. There's that shot when the guard is running across the bridge, and we're seeing it through the slats of the structure, and it's just a beautifully constructed shot that feels like the world's closing in, but it's put together so ham-fisted that it doesn't make sense. And I think I want somebody to take a look at this film and tell me if I'm wrong. Those shots before where we thought Caesar was hiding underneath something and looking up, I think they're tight shots of this moment when he's underneath this stair that they've just taken and put somewhere else because they need something.
Yeah, no, this looks like the same scenario, just tight shots of like this moment right here.
Yeah.
And they were trying to find some way of jumping to outside from Cult issuing the order. And yeah, this looks like they just reused some different footage from the same moment to make it look like the early ones. I will say this. Mm-hmm. This particular under the stairwell really gives me Death Star, Darth Vader,
I can see that
Carbonite moment. Like we played in Star Wars Galaxy's Heroes, so I see it all the time. Mm-hmm. Where they've got the orange grating underneath and the light up above.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back. This gives me
chamber.
This gives me that. This gives me that moment. That the use of the kind of orange light and the grating across it. It feels like it's almost reminiscent of those moments.
Irving Kershner was a hack.
You're saying he ripped off Bespin from
yes.
From
Everything
Conquest
came
of the
from
Planet of
the Apes.
But I could see being inspired by this kind of moment here to use the same type of color scheme and darkness to kind of evoke a feeling. It feels like that when I see this.
I can't help but think that this film would not have benefited greatly by building one more day in the production schedule where all they did was shoot boots. Coming up downstairs.
Marching from downstairs, upstairs, across a courtyard, down a hallway, anywhere. Yeah,
set up a dolly. Let me see them walking along, anything like that. Because
all
finally,
you need is 3 or 4 people, and if they walk in a circle around the camera, you make it look like a bunch.
Well, yeah, that goes back to when we talked about constructing the army scenes for Beneath the Planet of the Apes, that all you needed was 10 people, and if they're constantly all churning in a circle around, it makes them look like an infinite number of people. You could have done this so easily, and films have used things like boot steps before as a motif of a film that implies the constant nature of oppression. If they just had the time to think these things through, I think it would have helped this movie so much, because now when we look at Caesar, and look, I agree with you that it's weird that there's no wind, there's no nothing, there's no chaos within the circle, there's nothing that builds the tension in the moment, but the shots are so well done, finally, to have somebody hiding beneath the oppression that's above. If we would have just seen more of that throughout this film, maybe all this would work. Maybe if you'd seen tons of boots before, suddenly a sole pair of boots becomes even more terrifying. There are all these things that can come along with that if you think that through.
We didn't get the opening scene that Dane wanted of the beginning of the movie where an ape is found brutalized by a police officer. Mm-hmm. And that could have tied these two moments together a little bit more if we're back in the courtyard again. discovering an ape that's unattended. Like there could have been some nice symmetry between those two moments.
Yeah,
if we'd had that original one put in instead of not being in there at all. So we assume as Caesar puts up very very little no fight. Mm-hmm. Right, it's just kind of like, okay, he got out of the command bunker and now he's just captured. Culp shows up, right?
The guards bring him over to Culp.
Clearly, Culp has been out there for an hour, 2 hours, all day, 5 minutes, because that's what it was the last time we saw.
We have no sense of time. Yeah,
we have no sense of time. And then Culp pulls off a tag off the sleeve that you would imagine at this point Caesar probably would have removed. Caesar, you could read. You would have probably yanked off any identification at this point, or at least you should have.
Yeah, I was gonna. That was some of the notes I had. One of two things. It would have been interesting if that wasn't Caesar, and so they pull off the tag, and it's like, this is Brutus, and they go, well, how are we to know? They all look the same to us, and then you see Caesar over somewhere else, and then they're like, oh, there he is, go get him, and then the chase begins. Or what you said. You see Caesar put it on his badge on somebody else and say, right. I'm sorry, brother, but you've got to take this hit, and send him off. And they say, oh, this is Caesar. And then they take him off. And that can lead to something potentially different at the end.
Or the guard could have, while they're chasing, could have found the tag laying there. And when they bring it to Culp, said, we found this laying not far from him. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, while he's running away, he rips it off and then they pick it up. Yeah.
I mean, remind me to bring this moment back up again next week when we see how a little bit more of it unfolds, because I think this whole interplay of is it Caesar, isn't it Caesar, would be really interesting in the next couple of minutes to know whether it's him or not him.
When I see Culp, I've been trying, I said Javier Bardem's kind of portrayal the other day for something for Culp. When I see this shot of Culp, what I think of is Ralph Fiennes from Schindler's List, and he has the wonderful moment when he first is introduced, and he's in the back of a car, and he looks so disinterested. He has a little handkerchief beneath him. He's like
the banality of evil.
Yeah, and he finally says, "Yeah, I'll put the fucking top down. It's fucking cold," and it's like that's all he cares about. That's kind of who Culp. If Culp had been something very blasé, kind of instead, Tubby shows up. And I'm not scared of him. He just seems so disinterested. Yeah. He's in the wrong movie.
Yeah, you're right. He does need an accent. That would kind of add a little more to it. If he had an accent.
If he had been in Smokey and the Bandit as an inept cop, we would have bought that.
Yes, and I want to be fair. I probably shouldn't just call it said Tubby Fingers. I shouldn't call him Tubby. I want to be fair to the man, even though I think he's no longer with us. Anyway.
Was he with us in this movie? Do you know?
That's a really good point. Let's see. I'm looking him up real quick. Yes, he passed away in 1995 at the age of 65. Wow, he didn't live very long.
A little early, a little young.
Man, I'm telling you, these people that are associated with this movie, it is like, bam, they just kick it.
Nobody we Culp pulls the tag off of Caesar's sleeve, reads it, doesn't say whether it's Caesar or not. He just gives a smile, so we're supposed to assume that it's Caesar, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like Roddy in the makeup.
You want to cut to Annie Potts in Ghostbusters? We got one, boys!
You guys, in the last 2 days, you guys have jumped like 20 different movie references. All across the gamut of movies, too. Like, I'm stuck with one actor, one movie.
That's right. Sean and I, if we are given a chance, we'll go all over the place of moviedom.
We'll shotgun it.
I will say that I'm torn between when Culp gets it and looks at it, him stepping away and turning to the camera.
The dramatic step towards the camera.
I like that.
That nobody does in real life.
That's my problem. I both like it and I hate it, because I like it because it's incredibly dramatic, but it is so unmotivated. It's not like he's hiding what he's looking at. Instead, it feels like, this is where we should be using the shots like they had with McDonald and Caesar, where it's the high angle to low angle. Now he's the oppressor and he has the power. I know who you are. And I don't know. I expect him to twirl his mustache once he turns towards the camera.
Well, it's one of those things that nobody does in real life. Again, you turn and take one step away and look at something. I'm doing a Scrubs rewatch because I'm listening to a Scrubs podcast, and